Hello and welcome to quiz class. Today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. I have a feeling this is going to be a hard one, so let's begin with question number 1. Who defined globalization as expanding and intensifying social relations? Manfred Seeger, Arjun Appadurai, or Immanuel Kant? Manfred Seeger. What is social network expansion across conventional boundaries called? Extension, expansion, or classification? Expansion. Who coined the term scapes to describe the different dimensions of globalization? Benedict Anderson, Arjun Appadurai, or Vladimir Lenin? Arjun Appadurai. What is the oldest known international trade route? Shipping lane, merchant ships, or Silk Road? Silk Road. According to Flynn and Giraldez, in what year did the age of globalization begin? 1571, 1870, or 1570? (1571). Which refers to social network expansion, extension, and accelerations? Intensification, extension, or classification? Intensification. What global economic crisis lasted from the 1920s until the 1930s? The bubble bursts, Great Depression, or terrorism? The Great Depression. What are currencies that are not backed by precious metals? Fiat currencies, cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin? Fiat currencies. What system was inaugurated in 1944 to prevent the catastrophes of the previous wars? Allied powers, World Empire system, or Bretton Woods system? Bretton Woods system. What are the two financial institutions created at Bretton Woods? The World Bank and International Monetary Fund, Bitcoin and Ethereum, or dollar and euro? World Bank and International Monetary Fund. Which bank prevents countries from credit crises? International Monetary Fund, credit card, or World Bank? International Monetary Fund. What is the role of governments in managing spending as a system anchor? Communist International, Globalization, or Global Keynesianism? Global Keynesianism. What's the new economic theory adopted by the US Treasury, World Bank, IMF, and WTO? Communitarianism, neoliberalism, or empiricism? Neoliberalism. What policies does neoliberalism promote to minimize government spending and reduce debt? Napoleonic Code, Washington Consensus, or Concert of Europe? Washington Consensus. What is the term for when economic growth and employment fall while prices sharply increase? Stagflation, inflation, or deflation? Stagflation. Where do independent countries interact with each other? Telephone, diplomacy, or social media? Diplomacy. What ended the 30 Years' War in 1648 between major European powers in 1648? League of Nations, International Labor Organization, or the Treaty of Westphalia? Treaty of Westphalia. Which armies defeated Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815? Anglo and Prussian, the British Expeditionary Force, or General Hannibal? Anglo and Prussian. Who is the first significant thinker of liberal internationalism? Immanuel Kant, Giuseppe Mazzini, or Napoleon Bonaparte? Immanuel Kant. Who coined the word international and also advocated the creation of international law? Joseph Bethlehem, Jeremiah Bartholomew, or Jeremy Bentham? Jeremy Bentham. Which entity mainly decides if there's a threat to peace or an act of aggression? The Secretariat, Security Council, or International Court of Justice? Security Council. Who is the 9th Secretary General of the United Nations? Carlos Romulo, Volkan Bozkir, or Antonio Guterres? Antonio Guterres. It is the central, deliberative policymaking and representative organ, the General Assembly, International Court of Justice, or the Secretariat. The General Assembly. What does NATO stand for? North Atlantic Treaty Organization, North America Treaty Organization, or North Armenia Treaty Organization? North Atlantic Treaty Organization. When was NATO established? April 1951, April 1949, or June 1949? April 1949. What is an interest rate based on the actual amount and time owed for a loan? Annual inflation, effective interest rate, or annual percentage rate? Annual percentage rate. What is the price at which a stock can be bought or sold? Dividend yield, loan payoffs, or market value? Market value. What business deals with stocks and bonds and makes investments called home ownership, apportionment, or mutual fund? Mutual fund. What is the amount that is borrowed to buy the property? Mortgage, home ownership, or rent? Mortgage. The sum of money deposited into or borrowed from a bank is also known as Credit card, principal, or debit card? Principal. It is the sum of all values in the data set divided by the number of values that were summed. Standard deviation, arithmetic mean, or sample variance. Arithmetic mean. What is the term for using statistics from a sample to make inferences about the population it was drawn from? Inferential statistics, descriptive statistics, or probability? Inferential statistics. What is the term for a trait with many variations like age, hair color, height, weight, and religion? Data, sampling, or variable? Variable. What is the series of numbers in which each number is the sum of the two preceding numbers? Geometric patterns, triangular numbers, or Fibonacci sequence? Fibonacci sequence. Who introduced the sequence in Liber Abaci in 1202? Louis Fibonacci, Leonardo Fibonacci, or Leonard Euler? Leonardo Fibonacci. Who first described the fractal pattern known as the Koch snowflake in 1904? Wacław Sierpiński, Mandelbrot, or Hegel von Koch? Hegel von Koch. What is the procedure for performing mathematical calculation using binary numbers in base -2, natural binary code, binary representation, or binary arithmetic? Binary arithmetic. It builds a dictionary of frequently occurring patterns in the data and replaces them with shorter codes. Run length encoding, Huffman coding, or Lepel-Ziv-Welch? Lepel-Ziv-Welch. Who was credited with using redundancy to add reliability to information? Carl Friedrich Gauss, Claude Shannon, or Pythagoras? Claude Shannon. It's a statement that is always false no matter the component is true. Tautology, contingency, or contradiction? Contradiction. It organized chromosome patterns in each cell. DNA pattern, karyotype, or chromosomal screening? Karyotype. What is the partial set of chromosomes due to adding or deleting specific chromosomes? Polyploidy, euploidy, or aneuploidy? Aneuploidy. What is the single set of chromosomes in an organism's cell? Autopolyploid, allopolyploid, or haploid? Haploid. What is the genetic formula of nullosomic? 2n plus 2, 2n minus 2, or 2n plus 1? 2n minus 2. It is an inheritance pattern explained by simple rules of dominant and recessive genes. Mendelian genetics, karyotype, or cytogenetic? Mendelian genetics. What does PUAG stand for? Pure acid and gene, purine, adenine, and guanine, purify, artificial, and glycolic? And it was the second one. Chromosomes undergo segregation during what phases of mitosis? Anaphase, metaphase, or telophase? Anaphase. What does PMAT stand for? Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telekinesis, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, or protein, magnesium, alkaline, and thymine? Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. What structure consists of polypeptides and both helices and sheets? Quaternary structure, tertiary structure, or primary structure? Tertiary structure. Which of these is the symbol of angstrom? And the last choice is the answer. Who conducted the experiments on Pisum sativum, or garden peas? Gregor Mendel, Friedrich Miescher, or Theodor Schwann? Gregor Mendel. It focuses specifically on the mechanics or patterns of inheritance, molecular genetics, transmission genetics, or population genetics. Transmission genetics. Which of these describes the dihybrid crosses F2 features ratio? And the last again is the answer. It is a complex of nucleosides, sugar and base, hydrogen and oxygen, or DNA and sugar. Sugar and base. The two strands of DNA are said to be asymptotic, antiparallel, or infinite. Antiparallel. The base pairs are organized inside the helix through protein synthesis, DNA strands, or base stacking. Base stacking. Which of these is the correct information about zDNA? It has low and high salt concentrations, its dexterity is right-handed, or it has 92% relative humidity. It has low and high salt concentrations. It is a product of the transcription of DNA, RNA molecule, eukaryotes, or DNA polymerase. RNA molecule. It describes a group of RNA molecules that are catalytic, amino acids, ribosomes, or ribozymes. Ribozymes. What is the other term of poly X? Super male syndrome, super female syndrome, or Pato syndrome? Super female syndrome. Most of the older pregnant women often undergoes a prenatal screening that is also known as amniocentesis, chorionic villus sampling, or genetic counseling. Amniocentesis. When the particles are forced to split, energy is released. Electrical energy, nuclear energy, or geothermal energy. Nuclear energy. What is a device that measures the spectrum of light called? Stethoscope, statoscope, or spectroscope? Spectroscope. It refers to clusters of neurons, ganglia, corpus callosum, or nucleosomes. Nucleosomes, excuse me. Ganglia. It is a product of decomposition needed and used by plants, nitrates, bacteria, or fungi. Nitrates. The fertilized water will cause the rapid growth of tiny aquatic plants, a condition called algae, algal bloom, or aquatic bacteria. Algal bloom. Atoms are held together by decompression, repulsion, or force. Force. It secretes specialized proteins called antibodies, which help protect the body against foreign bodies or diseases. Lymphocytes, thoracic duct, or macrophages. Lymphocytes. It is a complication of a throat infection caused by certain strains of the Streptococcus bacteria, pharyngitis, rheumatic, or tonsillitis. Rheumatic. It is a condition caused by fat or cholesterol deposits in the arterial wall. Diabetes, hyperlipidemia, or atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. These are the microorganisms that change complex substances, which include protein and carbohydrates, consumers, decomposers, or producers. Decomposers. Which European country has the highest number of islands? Sweden, Norway, or Greece? Sweden. The Ural Mountains mark the traditional boundary between which two continents? Europe and Africa, Asia and Australia, or Europe and Asia? Europe and Asia. What is Europe's oldest university in continuous operation, established in 1088? Oxford, Bologna, or Salamanca? The University of Bologna. Which European region are the Sami people indigenous to? The Iberian Peninsula, Sicily, or Lapland? Lapland. Which European city is home to the headquarters of the International Red Cross? Brussels, Geneva, or Vienna? Geneva. How many countries does the Dinaric Alps extend across? 6, 5, or 3? 6. Which location can the only wild monkeys in Europe be found? Gibraltar, the Scottish Highlands, or Black Forest, Germany? Gibraltar. What was the original purpose of constructing the catacombs in Paris? To store wine, to protect the city from invaders, or to serve as a burial site? To serve as a burial site. Which European country first introduced coffee to the continent in the 16th century? The Netherlands, Portugal, or Italy? Portugal. The Treaty of Tordesillas, signed in 1494, was an agreement between which two countries? France and England, Spain and Portugal, or Germany and Italy? Spain and Portugal. What is the term for the rate of change of velocity? Acceleration, momentum, or speed? Acceleration. Which of the following measures the amount of matter in an object? Weight, mass, or density? Mass. What is a term for an object's resistance to changing its direction of motion? Friction, tension, or inertia? Inertia. What is the potential difference between 2 points? Voltage, resistance, or current? Voltage. Which waves do not require a medium to travel through? Sound waves, light waves, or seismic waves? Light waves. What is the unit of frequency? Joule, Newton, or Hertz? Hertz. What term describes the force opposing motion between two contacting surfaces? Frictional force, tension force, or gravitational force? Frictional force. Which principle explains why planes fly? Pascal's principle, Bernoulli's principle, or Archimedes' principle? Bernoulli's principle. What is the name given to the number of protons found in the nucleus of an atom? Atomic number, electron number, or neutron number? Atomic number. What is a term for bending light as it passes from one medium to another? Reflection, diffraction, or refraction? Refraction. Lake Baikal, the world's deepest freshwater lake, is located in which country? Canada, Russia, or the United States? Russia. What is the name of the strait dividing Asia from Europe? Bering Strait, Strait of Hormuz, or Bosporus Strait? The Bosporus Strait. Which nation is surrounded by landlocked South Africa? Botswana, Namibia, or Lesotho? Lesotho. The term orographic rainfall is most closely associated with which geographical feature? Rivers, mountains, or forests? Mountains. Which location on Earth has the lowest humidity? The Sahara Desert, the Kalahari Desert, or the Atacama Desert? The Atacama Desert. Which letters are not in the periodic table? J and Q, W and R, or J and X? J and Q. Who is credited with inventing the telephone? Nikola Tesla, Alexander Graham Bell, or Alexander Fleming? Alexander Graham Bell. Who was the first woman to land on the moon? Valentina Tereshkova, Eileen Collins, or Christina Koch? Christina Koch. Who was the third president of America? George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, or James Monroe? Thomas Jefferson. And our bonus question, who invented the World Wide Web and in what year? Let us know the answer in the comments and how well you did. And thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.